Jacobs.
I haven't felt like an actual like emotional punch to my chest in months, and that was the first one that I've
brutal.
gotten.
He slipped that in there.
Yeah.
So
that was smooth.
Yeah.
it caught me
It
off
was.
guard too.
It was. Me
anything
too.
to say
Like
back to it,
Hey man, the
I was-
champion is bound to pull something over your eyes. I mean, I did it all last season, so
Yeah,
I like that, man.
it was
I
me
like that a
pulling
lot.
something out of my ass, and throwing you literally Josh Jacobs, who literally saved your ass. You were out. You were out.
I mean,
it was over. It was
I
one
mean,
of the most
I think I owe you a thank you letter, and I owe Alan Taylor one for Amon Ross St. Brown. I also owe Trish
oh my
one
God,
for
do you
Geno
remember that?
Smith.
Do you remember
That
how
was
dirty
gross.
that one felt?
That was
Do you
gross.
remember how
And
dirty
Jake's
that
all
one
trying to
felt?
defend himself. He's like,
It's
it
true.
was a fair trade. No, everybody knew.
It was a fair trade in the
thought
sense
that it was because I had no idea who the fuck Amon Ra was.
it was a fair trade in the sense that it did not get vetoed. You know what I mean? Like I remember I pulled up the screen thinking to do it because like of how off it was, and I was like, Alan made that trade, and Alan's got the knowledge. Like,
I don't believe in vetoing trades. Some people in our league do, and that's fine. That's what makes the league fun. You can have different opinions.
That's true. That's true.
Fine.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There is a scenario in which I would easily do it.
Well, fantasy
of
footballers
course.
just did
But it ain't
frequently.
It ain't week one.
They just did an episode where they fielded questions from the audience or whatever. One of them asked about advice about people that have basically not a taco because that's rude to our league, but somebody that maybe you feel like is getting taken advantage of on trades, or a couple people. Their advice was, well, be the person taking advantage.
Yeah, I heard
like
that.
Those people
too.
exist.
Yeah.
You can't kick them out. You have the choice to veto, but like trades are going to happen.
You can kick them out.
Some of the people that are salty about like other trades happening, you notice they're just not making any trades. So there's probably
get
a little
in
bit
there
of that
and
to
mix
it
it
too.
up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm putting in legwork. So maybe I get a lopsided trade once in a while.
I've made great trades for me. I've made horrible trades for me. It's been a minute since I've won the league, but the year that I won
because of all
the
the horrible trades for you.
No. I mean, fair enough, sure.
Yeah.
But the year that I won the league, I traded for Juju Smith-Schuster, and that was the year where Juju was the best. Like that was the year when he was the.
To be fair, how many years are we going back in the past for this?
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 years. But all I'm saying is, what I'm trying to highlight is the fact that like the same point you made, where you got Amon-Ra, Josh Jacobs, etc. That's what built your championship run. You wouldn't have gotten there without them. You have to make adjustments during the season.
I had the best team after the draft too. So
you did, yeah. You had
There was a weird window in which Jake was like, "Hey, look, I have the best team," into, "Oh no, what have I done to my team?" to, "Oh look, I have the best team again." You know what I mean? Like it was
a roller coaster for sure.
Yeah. There's this valley in the middle of Jake's season where if you had told him he was the champion, he'd have been like, "I sure hope."
Right.
Well, you had a bad string of performances. Like you always had a ton of talent on your roster, but like you kept losing weeks. Like
there's a couple of bad calls from management position as far as the 50-50 calls. There was a couple just boneheaded decisions. Yeah, and I about walked myself out of the playoffs.
Well, and that's the great part of fantasy is that you can have a great roster. They can still underperform. If they don't perform on the right weeks or right weeks, Jesus. Then you can still lose. You know what I'm saying? That was a little Pat being tired of.
Well, do you remember that most of the teams in our league last year finished the regular season between 6 and 8 and 8 and 6?
So competitive.
Yeah, yes, it was so good those last couple weeks, man.
Yeah, it was
so good.
So many teams
and then
that made it in.
The point battle came down to the last week, and ultimately, I think
last game of the last week.
Oh, absolutely. I think, and I was doing a little bit of math, and I think the kicker that I had to play without because of the bet that I made with Jake was the thing that kept me away from that point title. I was a kicker away.
Well, one of these years, you'll get it.
It was worth keeping the name, though. I'm not gonna lie,
but whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, to that same token, I was an Alvin Kamara London game away from the point title too.
Mm-hmm.
That's how close it was. Between
that was a win for.
Look at the homage that dog is paying to the trophy. That's
he's just like, yes. He's like, there is a golden thing in the corner of my house. I must worship it. It's funny. He's staring at that thing, dude.
That's cool.
He knows.
Anyway, so we are doing.
He knows the champion. That's all it is.
That's fair. That's fair. We're doing the NFC South today, boys. Okay, we could go on and on about our league forever.
AFC.
Are we doing the AFC South?
Yeah, AFC South. What did I say? NFC. My bad. AFC South. The Jags, the Titans, the Texans, and the Colts. That's what we're dealing with. So, interesting division. I think
really
there is one or two.
A lot of fun in the AFC.
There's one like favorite that the fantasy world feels is the favorite in that division this year, but I don't think they're that heavy of a favorite. They could easily still implode. They're not like a team like Philly or the Chiefs.
We're talking about the Jaguars.
Yeah, we're talking about the Jaguars, right?
Jaguars.
That was built suspense, but you blew it. It's fine. Anyway, so we're talking about the Jaguars. Anyway, so we think they're the favorite, right? But the rest of the three, who knows where they're going to finish?
I think they have to be the favorite. I think you have a quarterback and you have a coach. Like that's the thing. If you got those two positions, then you have a good football team, and I think they do. And I'm glad that man's not still in Philly.
Yeah, I mean, I think Philly has the right coach for Philly, but we'll get to that at a later date.
I don't. They're gonna fall off. They're gonna be trash.
You're funny. They're gonna be great this year. They might be better.
No, they're not.
This year.
The head coach should be fired in 2 years.
The Rails.
Anyway, okay, all right.
Fired within 2 years.
Focus, boys. It's not about us, right?
Jaguars.
Well, let's not talk about the Jaguars yet. I'm just saying.
They gotta be the top.
The favorite.
Oh,
no, we start at the bottom. We start at the bottom. That's what we do. We work our way to the top.
Well, you didn't.
Right? Guys, I'm introducing the division. You see the shit I got to deal with here? To the people who watch this fucking show.
We'll start at the bottom, but first, before we start, let me start.
Every time we do this, we introduce the division, and then we're like, who do we think is going to finish last, et cetera, et cetera.
Every time. All 3 times we've done it.
I mean, listen, we're setting a tradition. We're on time number 3. Who do
I
we
like
think
being notified of that in real time. That's good.
You're welcome. All right. So who do we think is finishing last? Because
Houston.
It's Houston, right? Like we feel like it's Houston most likely. Okay.
It's a coin flip for me, Houston.
That's how I feel too. But I mean, I would still, if I was betting money, I would bet on Houston, right?
And I happen to think that if we're gonna get a weird quarterback to pan out, it's gonna be that guy in Indy, and I can't think of his name at the moment.
Richardson.
Yeah,
Anthony Richardson.
Anyway, he's just so much of an athlete.
He is. There's problems there too. We'll get to him. If we're talking about C.J. Stroud though in Houston, right? So you don't like C.J. Stroud. Interesting. I'm actually very intrigued by C.J. Stroud because out of all of the players to come out in the draft this year, not a great quarterback class, in my opinion. You have 3, really. You got the kid in Indy, you got Bryce Young, and you have C.J. Stroud. Those are the only ones that are really interesting to me.
Well, I mean,
Levis is garbage.
He's also in the AFC South.
Yeah, we'll talk about him.
So there's 3 quarterbacks in that division from that draft class. That is
exactly
interesting.
Well, that tells you how bad the division was last year. But,
yeah, it's true.
Trevor Lawrence is by and far the greatest quarterback in the division. But I think Bryce Young is going to be interesting. And I think, we don't know a lot about him. C.J. Stroud is what I meant to say. We don't know a lot about him in the NFL, but he's the guy that supported Marvin Harrison last year. Marvin Harrison is probably going to be the 101 in rookie dynasty league drafts next year. Like he is the burgeoning, generational wide receiver talent coming out of Ohio State. He's going to do one more year next year, and then he's going to be in the draft. He's going to be huge. C.J. Stroud supported him. I think he was playing a little bit with Chris Olave, maybe 2. 1 year with Chris Olave, I think. After Justin Fields left, all of these big name wide receivers that keep coming out of Ohio State, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, all these guys. Well, Justin Fields kind of broke out a little bit last year.
He did.
What's to say that C.J. Stroud is not going to be on that same path? I mean, he's
could
not
be,
as much of a runner, but he's a great pocket passer.
Think about all the great Ohio State quarterbacks and how high they've been drafted and how they've panned out in the NFL. if Justin Fields does it, he'll be the first. And is Justin Fields going to do it? I don't know. Like they're letting him run, and he's an insane athlete.
He throws a great deep ball too.
I want to see it now that they got some NFL film on it. Like, you know what I mean? If he does it this year, then I'll believe in it. How about that?
I mean, that's fair, but I just think CJ Stroud can be interesting. That's all I'm saying. He's quarterback 24, 25 in best ball drafts. Like nobody's taking him in the top 15, but he could be a guy that you could sneak on to your bench after a few solid weeks early in the season, and he might turn into something. It's possible. He might turn into a value at quarterback, especially if you get somebody as your QB1 like Aaron Rodgers or Geno Smith and they underwhelm. And then you get a rookie that comes on late. Like that's where I see him maybe having a benefit this year. If you're talking about
would you draft him in fantasy? Is he in your top 12?
He needs to be drafted. I don't think
he's not going to be on a team.
No. I mean, somebody might as the second quarterback. Our league drafts a lot of second quarterbacks, so you're almost forced to, because if you don't,
I feel like the phrase "our league," followed by anything, is always followed by like something you shouldn't fucking do. And
but I mean, we're trying to train him. That's what we're doing here, folks.
No, we have a good league. We have a good league. Why does that happen?
Gotten better every year. It's not a professional league, and all the mock drafts and the pre-shit you see are people that do it for a living. That put in hours and hours a week. I think we should cut them some slack.
You mean the rest of this league doesn't hyper focus on this league as their main source of proving their excellence?
I think some do, as evident by the three of us sitting in front of our webcams, but I don't know all of them do.
I think actually that most of them do at this point. I think probably 10 out of 12 do.
If you don't, you're getting kicked out. You heard it here first.
Let's say 9. Let's say 9 or 10 out of 12 is what I would say. And I'm not going to name names. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that, I think CJ Stroud could be interesting. I don't think you should ever draft two quarterbacks in a league where we play with 6 bench spots. They're too valuable. You need that for other positions, and you still have to have a defense and a kicker in this league.
Well, surely not never, right? Like there's got to be some strategies that would probably benefit from having some security to backup quarterback, right, for fantasy.
It depends on who you draft. If you draft I would draft a second quarterback in this situation. If I drafted Anthony Richardson, I would draft a second quarterback because Anthony Richardson could easily not have it. He's a very unproven passer. He's an amazing athlete.
He might not be starting right away.
Not have it.
Yeah,
it's possible, right?
Yeah.
So in that scenario, I would draft Derek Carr, who's definitely going to start the whole year. As long as
I hear you saying.
You know what I mean?
I agree. So, I thought you were saying there was no scenario where you would have two quarterbacks out of the draft.
I mean, if I had a top 10 quarterback, there's no reason to if I had Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson. I mean, any of the top,
if you have any of those guys, then
it's almost like our league creates its own demand, because you wouldn't need it other than the fact that they might not be on the waiver because everybody picks up a second one, therefore creating the demand.
That was my point, is that if you don't have one, then your options when you need one are dog shit because everybody holds it for a stupid ass reason. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense other than to just be in my craw when I need a guy.
Tell me why you would ever have Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow on the same team.
Fucking idiots.
Because you're paranoid.
I'm just saying. It doesn't make any sense.
Paranoid? I don't think paranoid covers it. I think delusional.
I mean, yeah, but I think paranoid's part of it. That little bit of but if something goes wrong with number one, I got to have
look at all of my wasted resources just burning in my barn.
I didn't mean to fire shots. To see what you're missing out on.
I didn't mean to fire shots at the individual who did that, but it just doesn't make sense. Trade one of them. They're both the same guy, really. At the end of the day, they're very great pocket passers.
Who had Mahomes and Burrow on the same roster? Did that happen?
Did that happen? Is this a real thing?
It was Dave. Dave had both.
Was that 2 years ago?
He had both. So all I'm trying to say is there's no reason to do that. I believe that's true, and if it's not, please check me. But I'm almost positive it's true. So anyway, I like Dave a lot. I didn't mean it like that, but it was just the example I thought of. So anyway, all I'm trying to say is he could be interesting. Let's move on to the running backs. Dameon Pierce was a revelation last year. I don't think he's going to do it again, and this is why. The reason why is I don't think they want him to do it. I don't think they want him to have 90% of the carries. That's not a recipe for success in the modern day NFL for 90% of running backs. You will get hurt. You will not have longevity. And also, go ahead.
I think that they might just absolutely run him into the ground to develop CJ Stroud.
Why did they bring in Devin Singletary then, though? Because Devin Singletary
because they're going to plan on running the ball a ton no matter what they do. And so if a guy goes down, they need a second guy.
But here's the thing. Last year, Dameon Pierce was a revelation because you got him in like the 7th round, right?
Yeah.
But he ended up getting 90% of the carries.
Yeah, if we're talking 15. What's going to happen fantasy value now wise, but I mean, if we're talking in the division, like competitively, I still think he's going to get a ton of touches.
I think he could get like 15 a game, but last year he was doing it off of like 20 to 25. I'm just saying he's going to get drafted. He's going to get drafted like a rock solid RB2, and he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be drafted in the top 20. He should be RB like RB like 26. That's what I think.
Where do you think you would first pick up Dameon Pierce in the draft?
The way that I have been drafting this year and the way that I'm looking at drafting, I mean, I have to change it a little bit. I've been doing so many best ball drafts, and I have to remind myself that's different than half PPR. I need to value running backs more. So
you do need
just
to
because
change.
Well, the way the scoring works, it favors running backs more in half-point PPR because of touchdowns. They're like you get a half point per reception, right? But that still weights towards touchdowns. So you have to have running backs to score touchdowns. So you need to have a couple of good running backs. You can't just go all wide receivers. But what I'm trying to say is the Dameon Pierce, 6th or 7th round.
Yeah, I would consider him in the 5th, but it would have to be late 5th, I think.
But here's who else is there.
I have him in.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull a reference for you guys. Keep talking.
Where you got him, Cody? Where you got him?
Honestly, like into the 4th, I'm feeling real good about that.
4th, really?
Yes.
Okay, why?
I think we're going to see more of what he did. Just bake it into it because they want to develop their 2nd overall pick quarterback, and for rookies that means running the ball a ton. And just based on value, I know they're bringing Singletary in, but they saw Dameon Pierce.
But they're like arguably the worst team in the NFL.
Like,
do you want the running back of the worst team that can load the box against a young quarterback?
They're gonna have a better O-line. Their offensive line is improving.
There are some scenarios that I have wanted an awful running back, like whoever was running the ball for Carolina last year after they got rid of Christian McCaffrey.
Was great.
Yeah, awful team.
They had to run the ball because they had nothing. Here's the thing. So what I wanted to point out to you is Dameon Pierce is usually going the 5th or 6th round in a best ball draft, right? Okay. So in half-point PPR, he's probably a 4th or 5th round guy in what the draft world, the fantasy world is going to draft him at. I disagree with that because of that situation I just laid out. Here's the other guys that are getting drafted around him: Aaron Jones, Ken Walker, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers, Alexander Madison. I would almost have all those other guys before him. Maybe not.
I would rather have him than Dobbins.
Oh my God. You're listing off those names, and I'm thinking I like Pierce a lot more all of a sudden because I don't want like
now Aaron Jones. That's
different.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk.
Ken Walker. There's an argument to be made to have Ken Walker before him too. But
yeah, you threw Cam Akers in there. Maybe that was what scared me.
I think Cam Akers can be great this year. But anyway, here's the thing. I think you're massively wrong about J.K. Dobbins, and you know what? You guys can have Dameon Pierce all day long.
Interesting.
I think who else was wildly wrong about J.K. Dobbins?
He was coming off an injury last year. He's 1 year removed. He was healthy. Like, what are we talking about?
We're talking about. No, we're talking about when he was on his injury.
Stop digging on Dave, man. We got to keep it.
Confirmation. I spent this time to go back. He did have Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow from the draft to the close of the season.
The memory of the guy.
God.
Yeah, he buried Joe Burrow. He disrespected that man. He buried Joe Cool. It was ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
Anyway,
and that's how you build. That's how you build animosity. I like that.
Yeah, let's keep it rolling here. I disagree with you guys on Dameon Pierce. Devin Singletary is a handcuff. He's not going to get enough touches unless Pierce gets hurt. But if Pierce gets hurt, waiver wire darling.
Is it possible that you're lying?
What do you mean?
Possible. Of course, it's possible.
That I'm lying about what?
About your feelings about Dameon Pierce?
Absolutely not. I don't do that. I try to share my honest opinions.
Let the record show a smirk.
I don't. Okay, sure, guys. Please believe I'm going to draft him and then snap him up so that I can get back players. I would love that. Anyway, so I'm being totally honest. I'm
double agent Patrick.
So here's the thing. Wide receivers. Now we got Robert Woods. We have Nico Collins. And we have John Mechie. Those are going to be the top three. Okay? I'm very interested in John Mechie.
Yeah. I don't want any piece of that.
Very interested in John Mechie as my wide receiver 5.
Wide receiver 5.
My fifth one. Yeah. Late guy.
Yeah, my fifth. That clears it right up.
I'm very interested as my 5. So not that interested.
He's the best option out there. Nico Collins could be your 4 or 5 also. Nobody else is worth a look at all. That's it.
I hear you. My argument is that the 5th wide receiver is probably never seeing my starting lineup unless I have an injury.
That's not true, man. You take those rookies late and you let them develop, and they might be worth a flex spot in the end of the season. That's what you do.
Or might not touch my starting lineup the entire year.
Yeah, but you're going to know that 4 weeks. Then you drop him and you pick up somebody off the waiver wire. He's worthwhile.
Bro, I'm not arguing with a follow-up strategy. I'm just saying that he's the 5th wide receiver.
He's
almost a nobody. That's borderline a nobody.
We don't want to see that receiving room during draft day. We don't want to see it. I don't want to look at it.
If you draft the one guy, okay, if you happen to draft the one guy that ends up being a solid flex, and you
talking Dave into it right now.
No,
I hear, but you've got like 8 people you've named over 3 podcasts, so nobody in the league's gonna know outside of 2 people. And I don't know how many lottery picks you think you can fit on your lineup, sir. But you get 1, maybe 2.
Austin knows John Mechie and he likes him. So anyway, all I'm trying to say is John Mechie was a big time player at Alabama. He didn't play last year. We've not seen him. He could be great.
I know you haven't.
All right, enough jokes. Dalton Schultz, what do we think? You homers?
Nah.
Dalton Schultz?
No, receiving cord.
Tight ends.
I hear no receiving cord. No, I don't want to see anyone catching a ball for Houston on my roster.
They got
not named Dameon Pierce.
Someone.
You heard what I said. I don't know what you want from me.
Fair enough. Let's move on. You guys.
I stand by it. As everyone should be.
Nothing to say.
Last thing about Houston. Did they or did they not draft 2 studs on defense in the draft? They got the best cornerback on the board, the guy at Illinois, big physical guy. Their defense is going to get better. Okay. I think they win a couple more games. And maybe they win 4 or 5.
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think about Houston.
So
who gets third?
Colts.
Yep.
Colts. I would say Colts too.
Yeah, because the Colts don't have Derrick Henry.
Or Nuke.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins. Yep.
Or the Titans are
the Titans started 7-3 last year, remember? Before they'd lost the last 7 in a row. So
because didn't Tannehill get injured at some point?
I think so.
And he's back.
They had a few injuries, if I remember right.
Yeah, no, they'll have an okay quarterback situation. Hopkins and Derrick Henry. They're gonna get
Tannehill Also, I mean, I know AJ Brown was there for a while. Tannehill quietly put 4 years.
He's not terrible.
He put 4 quarterback 15 or higher, quarterback 15 or higher years, 4 in a row. He did before last year. He got hurt.
Tennessee's last chance with this squad.
He's like a poor man's Matt Ryan.
He makes good decisions with the football. That's what he does, and he can make. He's good at the play,
and he's got Derrick Henry.
Yeah, he's great at play action.
Yeah. You would be too.
Yeah, if you had Derrick Henry and the whole defense was like, "Holy shit!"
It's true.
Yeah, exactly. You're not wrong. But so we're talking about Indy. Talking about Indy. Anthony Richardson.
I'm excited. I'm excited to watch him, man.
If he gets on the field, if he can,
I know. I want him to start. Yeah. I want him to start right away. I want to see it, man.
I don't see it happen.
Now you're probably right, but like it's for the people, you know. It's for the fans.
Who else would it be?
Gardner Minshew is going to start the year. Yeah.
Oh, I don't hate that.
Yeah. You know, Gardner's fun. The George he's like slinging the ball around.
He's like a redneck Jeff Garcia.
He's great. I mean, how can you not love Gardner Minshew? He's one of the greatest characters in the NFL. So I think Gardner Minshew means better things for Michael Pittman to start the year. If you wanted to be a little savvy.
Okay.
If you hear that Gardner Minshew's going to start, you take Michael Pittman. He starts off the year hot. They lose a few games. You move him in a trade. But here's the thing.
Where are you taking Michael Pittman?
Smart. I'm not interested in Michael Pittman this year.
Really?
What about where though?
Like wide receiver 5?
Hilarious. Wide receiver 26 or 27th off the board, probably. I mean, he's behind a lot of guys for me.
Yeah.
He's close to he's wide receiver 3 territory to me.
Okay.
Because I could name, I would take Deontay Johnson before him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I would probably take I spoke poorly about Kadarius Toney. I'd probably take Kadarius Toney before him. I think there's more upside.
That's surprising.
Oh, I think that's easy.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Especially if Richardson gets the start because they'll just be running the ball so much.
He's not an NFL ready passer.
You're right.
Going to struggle passing the ball.
And they've got a running game. So
yeah. They're going to be. Remember when Lamar came into the league the first year? He did not do great passing the ball, but they still scored a lot of points because they ran the ball and then they had Lamar, that option, and then the fact that they could use that and go play action. That's how they move the ball down the field. It can be very effective. I'm just saying, I don't think you're going to have a ceiling year for Michael Pittman in that offense.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So what are we saying? What are we saying about Richardson? When's it going?
Well, maybe instead of talking about him just yet, maybe we should talk about the most fantasy relevant person on Indy's team, which was the consensus overall number 1 pick last year. I thought I was going to luck out and get Jonathan Taylor because Erica didn't seem hot on it right away. I'm like, oh, what a thing that would fall to me. But that's not how that shook out. Yeah, right? I'll just take Austin Eckler. It's fine.
Yeah, you only took the RB2 on the year. Yeah, it was fine. Yeah.
So how do we feel about Jonathan Taylor with this quarterback situation?
It's
the other?
RB4.
It's 4 to me.
RB4.
I would take CMC. I would take Eckler. I would take Bijan before him. Yeah. Bijan and him are close, but I would take Bijan more. The reason why I would take Bijan is you know that coach. That coach has already spoken about running Bijan. They're gonna run with Bijan. They're gonna use the shit out of him. They're gonna use the play action after they can get it. Because the other thing is in Atlanta, they have a great offensive line. They proved it last year. Tyler Algier was worthy of starting some weeks. And he's not Tyler Algier produced a shit ton in college. He's not near the level of running back that Bijan is. And if they're going to run block the same way in that Arthur Smith scheme, Bijan is going to be fantastic. So and he's going to do it on volume.
Jonathan Taylor ahead of Saquon too, and Nick Chubb.
I think you have to put him above Saquon right now because Saquon's going to hold out and he could easily get injured. We've seen it a million times.
Or he could actually hold out and not.
Or he could actually not play. Yeah, because it's crazy to me that you don't.
Le'Veon did it.
See that again?
Le'Veon did it.
But I think the general consensus at the Le'Veon one was that he cost himself a lot of money for making a bad decision.
Took himself out of prime condition too.
He did. It's a bet on yourself situation, and some players are going to do it for money. And
Saquon would also be doing it much younger than Le'Veon did. Le'Veon kind of did it when he was a little bit older, a couple years older.
Yeah, so you could consider he'd do it, but I'm not risking my first round draft pick on anyone who might do that at the moment. Now it's July 14th.
Yeah, things can change. The thing I would say
because
is that
by draft day, I think we'll know some more about a contract.
Yeah. Did you say it was July 14th? It's the 18th, man. Where you been living? God damn it, dude. Anyway.
Life's good out here, man.
It
must be if you missed 4 days. Jesus.
What do you do?
Kind of stuff for you on out there, man. Anyway, what am I trying to say? I think Nick Chubb, unfortunately, because I traded him to Todd in my Dynasty League and I traded Nick Chubb and Michael Pittman to Todd for CMC because I'm trying to make a repeat bid this year. I think it was a lot for me to pay to get CMC, so he better pay off. But anyway, Nick Chubb, I think he's going to be great because he doesn't have any competition. He's going to do it on volume, and they're talking about him getting more passing work. If that happens, Nick Chubb could be the RB1.
So that's what I'm saying. Are you taking him or JT? JTT?
If they're there, I got to take JT. JT's a better talent. Nick Chubb's great, but JT is a generational talent at running back. If he stays healthy with that physique and that O-line performs more up to snuff, plus the threat of a running quarterback, you've seen what that's done for running backs in Baltimore a million times. So, I think you got to go with JT.
His generational talent is almost something that I can see Anthony Richardson getting an earlier start because you can get real NFL experience while handing the ball off and using your running ability, as its own thing to have a killer running game.
The moment if Gardner,
because they drafted him because he's an amazing athlete, right? Like that's a thing. So all right, you want him on the field, you want him learning the thing, and you have Jonathan Taylor to give the ball to.
If Gardner Minshew starts the year and he wins the starting job, because it's possible, it's the NFL, that happens. Coaches do that. Yeah. So if he wins the starting job, the moment they lose 2 in a row, and if in the second game they're losing bad, Anthony Richardson coming in. That's when it's
quick, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
You think they're just
everybody in Indianapolis is going to want it. The press, everybody in Indianapolis, the whole state of Indiana.
Why not start off week 1 then?
Blood. Because everybody will accept, okay, we have this young raw recruit. Gardner Minshew is a seasoned veteran. He's won games. He's proved he can throw the ball. Okay, he's going to run our offense while the kid figures it out, and he's going to get eased in the NFL. This is only and it's already been reported, by the way, that he's splitting first team reps. So the other 2 quarterbacks, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, already won the job.
Yeah,
they're already the starter. Richardson didn't do that, so that puts a little doubt in my mind. You know what I'm saying?
I think there's a good chance that we don't see Richardson for a few weeks.
3-4 weeks. That's what I think.
Yeah. Okay.
But other running backs in Indy, it's kind of irrelevant. But, I mean, it became relevant last year. Deion Jackson was a thing. They got somebody else there right now. Somebody has the depth chart that they can pull up. I'm looking at you, Mr. Two Screens. So I think there's somebody else there that's worth mentioning because you need for a big time player like that, you want a handcuff. They go down. The top 10 running backs go down. Some of them get injured every year. So it's in a team like that revolves around running the ball. You're going to want that guy, whoever the handcuff is. So while he's looking that up,
You're talking about
Woods.
an Indy? Talking about the Colts, though, right?
Yeah,
it's Zach Moss.
Okay. I don't know if I want Zach Moss.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I had to check two different depth charts just to see if there was a different name.
Wow.
And then
I'd be about
Hull,
Deion Jackson, though.
Is that a rookie they got? Evan Hull?
Yes, out of Northwestern. Big back, produced a lot in college. I don't know if he's an NFL guy, honestly. Maybe, but I don't see it.
This is JT or bust.
Yeah. So, anyway, yeah. So JT at running back. We talked about where to draft him, et cetera, et cetera. Talked about Michael Pittman a little bit. Isaiah McKenzie is going to fill the Paris Campbell role, which could be interesting. Isaiah McKenzie is a talented wide receiver. He could be a solid number 2 there. But again, it depends on who's throwing the ball. If Gardner Mitchell's throwing the ball, I'm interested in Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah, but not so much otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay.
They also drafted a rookie, Josh Downs. Some people like him. It's probably not going to be a thing this year.
Okay.
Tight ends. They have one massive guy. They have 2 massive guys, actually. Wily Cox. But the new hotness actually is Jelani Woods.
Jelani Woods.
Yeah.
That's
they
a cool
have
name.
they have
Yeah.
So these are guys that could become a thing. They could break out. It's possible. I don't see it.
Jelani Woods is 6'7", 253 pounds.
Massive guy. Huge. We're going to talk about my true breakout tight end this year, and it's neither one of these. These guys you can take in a best ball draft, not in our league, so it's not worth it.
All right. Anything else about Indy?
I think their defense is going to be not as good as it was last year.
Well, I lost Gilmore.
They don't have Steph Gilmore. Exactly.
Where'd he go?
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll focus
talk
on
about
it.
Let's talk about it.
We're getting to the East. No, we did the East. We're doing the North last, and then we'll do the NFC East at some point, but not until then will we talk about the Gilmore. Gilmore Girls. Anyway, so
amazing show.
It's
so good.
I mean, I've never seen it, so I can't say that I have an opinion. But a lot of girls that I went to college with liked it, So I guess if
I love girls that go to college.
So if we're calling Cody a college girl, then it makes sense. Moving on. So second place team. Tennessee, right?
Yep.
I don't know. I think it might be Jacksonville.
They could win it.
Yeah. They could.
It's going to depend on if Trevor Lawrence is a superstar or not.
I think he is.
I think he's a top 10 quarterback.
I think that there's more superstar talent on the Titans, but not necessarily at the quarterback. So
interesting.
I think
and that's how important I feel about quarterback going into the playoffs. So that's why I got to pick Jacksonville.
I think so too. But I think that there's better surrounding talent on Tennessee.
Maybe Tennessee landed something in Will Levis.
Better coached.
But I don't think so. I don't think so.
Anyway.
I don't believe in it. I'm just, if we're talking chances, they drafted a guy.
Remember when we watched Malik Willis not be able to complete a pass?
It was bad.
So the reports are right now in Tennessee that Malik Willis is by far outperforming Will Levis. So that ought to tell you something. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, no. What a weird quarterback room that is, sitting in there just teaching all those guys how to play.
There's like a lot of
wasted
Ryan picks, if you ask me. Why did you need to draft either of them? Just go out and sign another Ryan Tannehill. They're available. You could have went and drafted. If Tannehill's done, you could have went and got Derek Carr. What are you doing? There's no point in doing that. It's stupid.
Very true.
Anyway,
I have they look fucking dumb, which is too bad because I think Mike Vrabel's a good coach.
Yeah, I think he's a great defensive coach. I don't think he knows shit about offense.
Great defensive coach, but he's another one of those guys that seems to.
You can hire
his players just seem to play a little tougher. You know what I mean?
Yeah, here's what he's done.
Get a really good offensive coordinator for them. You know what I'm saying?
Eric Bieniemy would be great. The guy that used to be the Chiefs OC. but he went somewhere else. I think he's in Washington. So, better watch out, man. You're gonna get Washington, Kansas City Chiefs.
Our defense is amazing. I'm fine.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine. Anyway, so the Tennessee Titans. Ryan Tannehill is an interesting quarterback to me now.
Yeah.
As a QB2.
Yeah, he's got a DeAndre Hopkins.
And he's got Treylon Burks.
Yeah.
I think Treylon Burks is much better suited as the 2 on the team because he's a very physical wide receiver, and he showed it a few times last year. And he was reportedly struggling with asthma all last year, and apparently that's been healed. And he looks bigger and faster than he ever has. I've seen a few videos that would
Can you heal
kind of
asthma?
back up that point.
You can.
What did you say?
They did.
Can you heal asthma?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
That was a genuine question.
You can get things that treat it much better and don't, so that it doesn't affect you. Like that's what people get acupuncture for. That's why people like.
Kind of like a treatable thing.
Sometimes it takes a whole season to do it.
I mean, apparently, I don't know. Like he had a struggle with it last year. He says that his words coming into OTAs were that, of course I'm faster. I can breathe. That was what he told the reporters. So
they might just have a good team.
They might have a good team.
Well, you remember the hype before last year without DeAndre Hopkins was that they were real contenders before last season started. 7-3 and then just fell off.
Here's the real question, though. Can DeAndre Hopkins stay healthy? He hasn't been healthy in 3 years.
Well, he only missed time last year because of a suspension. So
he was hurt too, once or twice.
I don't think it caused him to miss any time though.
Yeah, so let's pump the brakes on what we're thinking.
Yeah, you're right. And then Kyler got hurt was the problem. But yeah. So anyhow,
he was on a bad team. That's what the problem was.
That's true. And I think Tannehill, you saw it with AJ Brown. You saw a few games with Treylon Burks. He's capable of helping a top dog produce. Like him and
I think they'll throw it to him a lot.
Damn right. So here's an interesting question.
To beat the dead horse, Derrick Henry in the backfield is going to draw some safeties up.
DeAndre Hopkins still, even after this news in best ball drafts, is only wide receiver 20. I think he gets up to wide receiver 15. I think he gets drafted wide receiver 15. I don't think he goes higher than that.
Okay.
Which is interesting, but I think
it's interesting.
Yeah,
it's interesting because
well, let's name them, right? So the guys you take before him. Let's think about 14 guys you think you take before him. You got Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I'm just going to start naming them sporadically. Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Amon-Ra, CD, AJ Brown.
Did you say Tyreek? Yeah, you did.
That's funny. Good. Keenan Allen's in that mix. Maybe that. Then we're getting that's. So now we're starting to get Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen.
I like Amari Cooper. I like
Calvin Ridley.
Amari Cooper.
Calvin Ridley's in the mix there.
How about T. Higgins?
I don't like Calvin Ridley. Am I the only one?
It's a big question mark.
It's a huge question mark. He's being drafted too high for my blood. I don't think I'm taking him. Too high. He's a wide receiver 16 right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's too high. I think Christian Kirk could outproduce on the same team.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, if he's the Calvin Ridley that he was, though, he's going to be a huge value because he could be wide receiver like 5 if he's that guy.
DeAndre Hopkins or Jerry Jeudy?
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Okay. DeAndre Hopkins or Terry McLaurin?
DeAndre Hopkins.
Without a doubt. He's got a better quarterback.
I mean, on this ranking list has got those 3 people 20, 21, and 22 for wide receivers.
It's kind of crazy where he's going.
That's wild to me.
It's because people think like I do. They think he was injured last year because of how bad their offense was. I thought he was injured.
Yeah, no, he's amazing.
I was like, he was injured.
He's under the radar somehow for an elite wide receiver.
He just hasn't been. He hasn't been Houston DeAndre Hopkins.
He's got talent to be like wide receiver 8, and I don't even think it's a stretch.
But he is getting old.
Listen, if he looked that good in Houston, I think he's fine.
I think so too.
He also had Deshaun Watson in Houston. I mean, he had other guys there too, and he was still great. He had Derek Carr's lesser good brother, David.
Jesus.
The non-eyeliner one. He didn't get the memo.
He is.
So anyhow, interesting. Hopkins. Okay, it's an interesting wide receiver room. We talked about I'm really interested in Treylon Burks. I like Treylon Burks in the 6th or 7th round. I think he's a second-year rookie that I'm very high on. I think he could have a great year. I think he could catch 70, 80 passes, and he could have 800 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's a solid wide receiver 2-3 numbers.
Okay. So
that's what I think he can do this year. And he has the athletic profile to do more than that. So
yeah.
I think he's an interesting guy to look at.
Do we think Tennessee's going to have like a potent offense this year?
They could, because this brings me. I mean, we know Derrick Henry, right? Derrick Henry's the running back.
They
5.
seem
we don't have to talk
they
about
seem
that.
to have a lot of like killer weapons, right?
Which brings me to the breakout tight end of the universe, Chig Okonkwo. Okay, Chigoziem Okonkwo.
Patrick back to his old ways.
No. Chigoziem Okonkwo. Check him out.
He 3 times fast.
He had his yards per reception, and maybe a couple other metrics for a rookie tight end. He was a rookie last year. We're on par with the rookie seasons, I believe, of like Gronkowski and Kyle Pitts. Like, he was putting up some crazy metrics when he got an opportunity at the end of last year. He is a wide receiver.
Okay.
He's a small guy. Okay. So he's a guy at tight end that can play in the slot. Like, he can run slants. Like, watch a video on him. I'm telling you. Like, the guy could be big, especially if you got DeAndre Hopkins and Treylon Burks out there, and he's the third option, and you're matching him up on a middle linebacker.
Are you trying to talk them in to winning this division?
I'm just saying that I think Chig Okonkwo, if you wait on tight end, is the tight end you want to take.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Okay.
I think he's very talented.
Interesting.
And he's not a rookie. He's second year now. So.
Because you hate rookie tight ends.
You can't have a rookie tight end.
You hate them.
Even if, dude.
Kyle Pitts was the one you wanted to take the chance on, but even what happened?
He had a great rookie season, and he was tight end like 12.
Yep.
So you had the worst tight end in the league. Is what he had. In the fantasy league. But so I mean, Derrick Henry, right? Or like, we already talked about him a little bit, but I mean,
where are you taking him?
I feel like somebody's gonna take him. Like,
where are you taking him?
I feel like somebody's gonna take him third, so I'm not gonna get him. I don't want him.
Third?
I think somebody in our league. Okay,
third overall.
I think he's gonna take him third running back off the board.
Okay.
He's a second round. He's a second round running back.
Ooh, I don't know. He's like getting out of the first round.
201 or 202 for me. That's where I'd
be surprised
if
he gets taken in the first round. I'd be surprised, unless it's 11. Or
really? You'll be surprised.
I don't have him in the top 12.
Wow.
Well, let's look at it this way.
I do.
Let's look at it this way. Okay, so I would take 5 or 6 wide receivers before him. I would take a tight end before him. And I would take 4 other running backs before him. So maybe he's the last pick of the first round.
Got him like the same range as Nick Chubb, maybe a pick higher.
He's on the turn for me of rounds 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where I think
I'm thinking about it. I'm like, nah. Yeah.
Okay. If it's my
you
first
take
pick,
Travis Kelce or Derrick Henry?
What pick am I? Travis Kelce. Who am I kidding?
I don't know.
Wow.
I might take Derrick Henry. I might take Derrick Henry. But the thing is those aren't.
Is that where it is?
Is that where it is? Those won't be my choices though, because AJ Brown will be there, Steph Diggs will be there. I'm taking either one of those guys before Derrick Henry.
Not me.
I'm taking it because
not me. Not me.
I just know I can get somebody like I don't have to have Derrick Henry. I could get
Derrick Henry could lead the league in rushing next year.
Why do I need Derrick Henry when I can get Nick Chubb? They're the same guy. So I can take AJ Brown and then try to come back with Nick Chubb. And if I don't get Nick Chubb, then I mean, who else are we looking at running back 8? Tony Pollard. Okay, cool. Josh Jacobs, Ramondre Stevenson. So you tell me I can either get Derrick Henry and T. Higgins, or I can get AJ Brown and Ramondre Stevenson. AJ Brown, Ramondre Stevenson every time. That's how I would pair it up.
I mean, it's quite the pairing.
Well, because that's how it would go, though, based on the ADPs. If we're talking straight like that, you know what I mean. So I don't know.
What else we got on Tennessee?
I love these. This is good, like draft talk crap. It's good. No, but it is good. It's good that we're doing that because it helps people think about like where people are going. For our 3 people that listen. But anything else on Tennessee? I mean, their defense I think is going to be solid. They're always solid every year, even if they don't have the most talent. They're always like somehow solid.
Yeah, and I think they will be. Yeah, I think they'll be a good team. I think they should be in the playoffs.
I think they maybe make the playoffs. I think they eke out.
Yeah, I think they're on the. I think I'm talking wild card.
I think with DeAndre Hopkins, they have 2 capable wide receivers, which is the bare minimum they need, and they got it. So,
they're not.
Could be a huge understatement.
They seem to have a well-balanced team,
which is funny,
and I think well coached.
They just needed a superstar wide receiver. That was the big thing.
And they went out and they got him. So good on checking the boxes, man.
Well, and you know what's kind of funny is that what's funny is interesting. It was Belichick and Vrabel that were after it, and I feel like Vrabel was like, "Oh, I know Bill wants this guy bad." You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He knew that's a Belichick move. That's always a Belichick move. Oh, there's a superstar wide receiver out here that I can get to come buy into our team. But the problem is, you don't have Tom Brady. It's a lot easier to get people to buy in when you got Tom Brady back there.
Yeah,
that's true.
All right. So we should talk about the Jags. Round this baby out.
Round it out.
Let's talk about the golden-haired god. All right. QB8 right now. In a lot of people's minds, it's him and Justin Fields were 2 generational talents at QB in that draft, right? There was TV shows about it, right? I mean, there literally were on Netflix, okay, that followed those 2 guys' careers. So, I mean, they've been the hotness since high school. They did it in college. One of them did it a little bit earlier with his feet when they finally started letting him run. But Trevor Lawrence became a very effective passer. He still made some boneheaded decisions, but he's a runner too. He reminds me a lot. He has an
absolute rocket too.
He reminds me a lot of a young Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. More athletic though.
More athletic, absolutely.
By a stretch.
Bigger, more athletic, but not as fluid of a passer.
Yeah.
But a guy that can throw the ball, is a good leader, intelligent guy, hair like a god, and can run. And that reminds me a lot about how Rodgers was when he first started at quarterback for the Pack. So I think there's a comp there. All I'm saying is I think Trevor Lawrence has got it, and I think he has a great year. Yeah. Okay, you've had like 4, by the way. You know how many times we talk about the fucking Cowboys? It's not even like, come on, get out of here. All right, so all I'm trying to say is I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a great year. I probably won't have him because I think he's going to go a little bit too high.
Okay.
Where do you think he's going?
I think he's going. I think in our league he might go top 7.
Because of Allen?
Because people remember how he finished the end of the year.
I think top 7 is probably a pretty decent spot for him to go. I can't think of another quarterback or two I'd put ahead of him.
His ADP is QB8. Okay. I think I might rather have Deshaun.
I get that.
But Dak Prescott.
I would have Trevor Lawrence before Dak. Because you want to know why? Because Kellen Moore's gone, and I think Mike McCarthy is a horrible offensive coach. And you guys are about to realize that.
That scares me.
Yeah. Kellen Moore's yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Slight tangent. If you had like your tiers of quarterbacks, who's in your top tier by themselves? It's Josh Allen, it's Mahomes, it's Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
Are there
I think we can throw Lamar into there this year. I think Lamar's right on the cusp with that tier too.
I agree.
If he's not, then Lamar's the first one in tier 2.
In tier 2, where does tier 2 cut off? And that's where Trevor Lawrence is at, right? Or is he tier 3?
No, I think he's tier 3 to me. Tier 2 to me is
we're talking Justin Herbert,
Lamar, Joe Burrow, and Fields. I think Fields in there too because the upside was and you know what? I think Fields going too high too. I don't know if he needs to be up at QB6.
But I think seeing what he did for like a month of
he
like
ripped it up. Numbers. He was a QB1 many weeks.
Yeah, it was aggressive. That's why Brant won the point title again.
That's true. My puppy's going nuts over there. Anyway.
So then tier 3, do you have Kirk Cousins in there?
No, absolutely not. Tier 3, okay. So tier 3 to me is Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, Anthony Richardson, Dak Prescott.
I got Deshaun Watson ahead of Trevor Lawrence.
Tua, for me, man, is a huge risk because of the injury.
Oh, it is. Where do you take Tua? Oh, man.
I can't take him in my he's maybe number 12 for me.
Okay. God, but then he might be number 3. That's such a weird.
He doesn't run the ball, and the thing
I don't care. They just throw it so much.
He's not great against good defenses. We all remember him torching bad teams because he had 2 of the best wide receivers in the league, and one of them who you just throw the ball up and he runs under it because nobody can guard him.
You're so off the rails.
Hold on. Keep talking. Keeyaw. Stop
it. We started talking about quarterback ranks because we're talking about the Golden God.
Yeah.
Which is going to determine who wins the division, right?
Yeah.
Is how that man plays.
I think that Tannehill could outplay him because of veteran sauce. That's what I'm saying.
I think so too.
It's possible.
That's why I think Tennessee wins the division.
It's very possible.
Interesting.
And you know what? Tennessee has the culture to do it as well, which is important.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. Well, you talked about in Houston with Dameon Pierce maybe not getting as much of the workload. I feel the same way about Travis Etienne.
Tank Bigsby's going to eat his lunch on the goal line. That man is tailor-made for inside the 5 touches, and that's going to kill Travis Etienne this year.
I am not big on Etienne either.
I also think he's injury-prone. He's going to be a third down back, and I think he'll get 10
I think he'll get some
touches.
Numbers. Yeah,
10, 15 touches.
He's listed as the running back 14. Looks like mid-third round pick on ADP.
He's a less good Aaron Jones to me, and Aaron Jones is going after him. So I'll take Aaron Jones. Thanks.
Aaron Jones is going after him?
Yeah, by 3 spots.
Really?
Yes.
I have. And right in between is Joe Mixon, who I also like more than I like you.
I would 100%
all day.
Let's shoot off the cannons for Joe Mixon. People are totally undervaluing him.
What's that about?
Samaje Piran's not there. They don't have anybody behind him. There's nobody behind him.
Why are people not as high on Joe Mixon?
My guess
he almost got cut. He almost got traded.
There's that, and there's the fact that there's just so many weapons. There's so many mouths to feed on that offense.
And then when they get inside the 5 and they need to run the ball, it's Joe Mixon every damn time.
It is. But then, as somebody who had him on my team last year, watching him do 3 conversions from the 1 yard line, and him not converting on any of them, so it's a little bittersweet.
But
They're trying.
Didn't he give you like a 50-point week?
He had 1 week where
I can't
4
remember.
touchdowns.
There was a 40 and there was a 50 between him and Jacobs, and I can't remember which was which.
But he's still the guy that can do that because of the offense that he's on. And then also the other thing is they don't like Samaje Perine was good. He was good last year. He was a good receiving running back, and he took Joe Mixon off the field because of that.
Yep.
They don't have that. Some people think it might be Chase Brown, but Chase Brown is a rookie. He's not proven. Chase Brown produced crazy numbers at Illinois, okay? But he's unproven. Joe Mixon's the guy. They restructured his deal, okay? He's not going to be there for that much longer. They're going to run him into the ground. Joe Mixon to the moon, baby. He's getting drafted.
I feel the same way you do. Way you do.
Yeah. I think Joe Mixon easily is running back 10, and he's getting drafted at running back 15. That, to me, is a screaming value. I'll take him all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, I don't know how
what other parts of Jacksonville do you like, do you not like?
I like Tank Bigsby. I will take Tank Bigsby. I think he could be a Jamal Williams this year. I don't know he's going to put up 18 touchdowns, but he could put up 9 or 10.
Okay.
So I'm interested in that. A lot of people thought that guy was going to be Kendre Miller in New Orleans, but Jamal Williams is going to be Jamal Williams in New Orleans. And then the other thing is Kendre Miller's already hurt. He's going to be on the non-football injury list for training camp. So I'm out. Anyway, Tank Bigsby.
How do you feel? You talked about Calvin Ridley a little bit, but are we on board? Like, that's a huge risk, but like it could really pay off. Didn't it seem like one of those picks that, like, if it does pay off, it's maybe not league winning, maybe it's not quite on that level, but it's like the step down from that as far as what it can mean for your team.
I've been seeing people take him so high that I just keep thinking, like, yeah, but I could get someone not him there.
You could get Amari Cooper there.
Yeah.
Or Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
I want Keenan Allen this year.
I don't.
Give me Keenan Allen.
Don't you remember what Calvin Ridley was, though? The man was a monster, almost like generational talent, I believe was the term we're using this guy.
Has not played in 3 years.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
And it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. I don't need that.
Because remember, he sat out. He sat out, and then he got banned.
Gambling.
And now he's so it's like 2.5, 3 years. It's been a long time.
That ain't nothing I'm touching there.
Last time we saw that was
he's also got Christian Kirk.
And Evan Ingram and Zay Jones.
Evan Ingram's a bum.
I think there's a lot of balls getting spread around. I think he'll have decent numbers, but I don't think.
I think 3 years and a lot of money disagree with your statement that Evan Ingram is a bum because that man got paid.
I think if your only argument is that he got paid, I think you're standing on some thin legs.
That was Cody's argument last year with
Christian Kirk, and I was correct.
Yeah.
So I do believe in that.
There's also your argument with Tyreek Hill too.
Mm-hmm. And I took them both.
I think Evan Ingram has made a career on getting people to think he might do something, and then he doesn't.
I think Trevor Lawrence loves Evan Ingram. They figured some stuff out last year, and I don't think that goes away.
They figured some stuff out.
I think they had 2 games where they figured some things out.
Okay. Also, Doug Peterson's there. Look what Doug Peterson did for Zach Ertz.
Yeah, I do really like his.
He made Zach Ertz the tight end, the top tight end, competing with Kelsey and Andrews for like 3 years.
Did he make him that, or was that just how good he was?
That was his offense, man. It's his team.
That's the Belichick and Tom Brady thing, though. Like,
I think there's something to be said about having Doug Peterson there because he's a big reason why I believe Jacksonville's going to win the division anyway. And so if we're going to emulate some things and some offenses because of the talent, I could believe in Evan Ingram. I believe in the money they paid him too. And those things adding up together makes me think that he'll have a better season than what you're giving him credit.
What round would you draft him in? Or consider drafting him in? 9th round?
I kind of feel like, yeah.
Tight end 8 is his ADP.
Okay.
And that's where he belongs because you got Kelsey, Andrews, Hawkinson, George Kittle, Kyle Pitts, Waller, and Dallas Goedert. They all belong.
I think I'd take Freiermuth before I took him, but that was kind of close.
I would take Ingram before Freiermuth.
Me too. I would take. I would consider. I'm not going to take Ingram because here's the thing with Jacksonville. Their pieces are all too expensive right now. They're all like, think about this. Think about it. We think Trevor Lawrence may be a little bit too expensive. We think Calvin Ridley maybe a little bit too expensive. We think Travis Etienne.
But I thought money equated to quality.
Well, we're talking.
He means draft value.
I'm talking about
fake money.
Yeah. They're ADP.
Yeah, but that's what I mean though. They're all going 2 or 3 spots too high. That's what I think. And so I'm probably not going to have a lot.
Where do you take Christian Kirk?
I would love to have Christian Kirk.
Where do you take Christian Kirk?
6th round.
I would love to have Christian Kirk.
I'm thinking maybe 5th, but it really depends on my team.
Depends on who else is there. I would like to have Deontay Johnson. I'm about Deontay Johnson this year. I think he's going to have a good year. But the thing is, Kirk's got a better quarterback, but I think Deontay Johnson. So
I think in a better offense.
They do have a better offense for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. It's an interesting discussion. Him or Deontay Johnson. That's where those 2 are on level. Or here's a good one. Let's put these 3 together. Deontay Johnson, Christian Kirk, and Chris Godwin. Because they're all close.
Who's the first one you said?
Kirk and Deontay Johnson are a little bit higher. Chris Godwin is actually the wide receiver 30 right now, which is insane. Baker Mayfield was great with Jarvis Landry.
Christian Kirk or Christian Watson?
Oh, Watson. Too much upside for Watson. Watson's so fast.
I don't know, man.
He's so fast and he's so big.
Isn't it?
It's got to be Watson.
I think Kirk's more consistent, right? But the other one gives
how
you more
dare
explosiveness.
you make me choose between my 2 babies on my team last year?
It's got to be Watson. It's got to be Watson.
I don't know, man. Jordan Love is trash. Jordan Love is not even a quarterback.
Jordan Love has the most experience out of a quarterback like that that's coming into a role. He has more experience than anybody else that would be coming into a role like that this year. He has more experience than Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, any of these guys. He's going to play more consistent football to start the year than any one of those guys.
Okay, Patrick. Christian Kirk or Michael Pittman?
Christian Kirk, for sure.
Yeah.
I disagree on that one, I think.
Ooh, not
Christian
me.
Kirk, for sure. And if he couldn't get it done with Matt Ryan, then he certainly ain't going to get it done with Anthony Richardson. That's what I think.
What's the age difference on those guys, though?
Ryan and who?
Oh, no, they're pretty close. Only a year apart. Kirk's a year older.
Yeah. Kirk. People think Kirk's been around for forever. He's only been in the league 4 or 5 years.
That was my impression. But
yeah, he was 3 years in Arizona, right?
Yep. And this will be his 2nd year in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Zay Jones, don't sleep on him. If any one of those top 2 get injured, he proved last year.
He looked really good. He looked really good.
So
I think they're
drafting a wide receiver 3 on a team.
Well, maybe the reason they're going so high is just because overall they're going to have a high-powered offense. And the way we're talking about all these guys, right? And do we believe in Doug Peterson that hard because of all that talent? It sounds like we're smoking real tough on Jacksonville offense. You just want to have.
I'm glad we did this pod because, like last week when we were talking about it and prefacing this division, I thought it was going to be boring and nothing. But I'm kind of excited to watch this division.
It's going to be
a very exciting division.
Got more exciting with the recent news of Hopkins going there.
Yeah, not a super great division, but like some
exciting,
interesting storylines going on.
Yes.
And here's my thing with Jacksonville. Okay, I think there's a lot of teams out there that have potential to have a great offense, right? But not all of them are having their pieces drafted as if we already know that they're going to have a great offense. All of Jacksonville's players are being drafted like it's a sure thing that they're going to be great. Mm-hmm. Hey, man, like they didn't prove jack shit to me last year. And they added Calvin Ridley. That's it.
I think it's just people riding the hot hand, right? Because didn't they end the season by like
they did
five
they did
something?
they looked really good. They scored a lot of points against Dallas's defense.
Yeah, their defense
at the end of the season.
Their defense
They
sucks.
torched
Trayvon Diggs.
Their defense sucks still, though. So that could also hamper their ability to win the division. Tennessee has a better defense, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So
they're coached for it.
I think that division's really tight at the top. I picked Jacksonville to win it, but I think it's real tight.
Probably depends.
I think it'll be
it
exciting.
Probably comes down to who.
I can see both of those teams
those
in
two
playoffs.
games against each other, right?
I also think the fantasy world just wants Jacksonville to be a thing because it would be fun. Like we all want Jacksonville to be a thing.
Yeah,
again,
it would be fun.
It was like a few years ago when they had Case Keenum, not Case Keenum. That was the Vikings. But when the Jaguars were up there because the Jalen Ramsey defense,
Blake Bortles,
everybody hopped on it. It was fun. People wanted to do well.
They had Blake Bortles.
Early
if a team sucks long enough, people cheer for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's true.
And they've been
It'd be like if the Lions were all of a sudden like a great team this year.
Yeah, we would all back that. In fact, that's why we all wanted the Lions to win last year because they've been bad for so long.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's fun. And we like Dan Campbell. He's a fun coach.
I agree.
Yeah. Yep. So and it's good to see Jared Goff having a second act and doing well at it, you know.
Mm-hmm. When you see what that whole thing paid for, and it paid for a Super Bowl, like he's got to feel a little bit like just severed from the whole thing, right?
Well, Sean McVay is a genius, and he knew that
it was the right call. Obviously, it worked, but like there's that happened.
But there's still emotions that people.
Yeah, like it's like, hey, look, I just, Nice.
Well, he sat there and watched a subpar Patriots team defense their way to a victory when all he needed was a quarterback who could make some reasonable throws.
I imagine it's like
that's what
when
happened.
You have a long-term relationship and your girlfriend dumps you and then is engaged the next year.
Yeah.
It's got to be something like that.
Well, they even remember the commercials
ring
about
and
it?
everything.
No.
You remember the commercials that he made about it?
It's
like having struggles for your entire career and then making one small change and immediately having success. And then it was like him smirking at the camera. Matthew Stafford. Man. They made a commercial about it.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
It was a phone commercial. Look it up. They joked about it. It was like for Verizon, I think, or AT&T.
I think that's more of a dig at just the franchise of Detroit, like for his own personal success.
I think Detroit has a good chance to win that division this year.
I agree.
Which is kind of crazy.
Can't wait till we start talking about the NFC.
Yeah. Well, we got one more. We got a really fun one left. The AFC North is going to be super fun to talk about. A lot of big ballers up there.
Yeah.
So
that one's going to be good.
My one of my 2 QB targets of choice this year up in there, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
I'd love to have that guy on my team this year. I think he's
absolutely. I think he has a chance to be our. I think he has a chance to be our QB1.
I think he has a chance to be MVP.
Really?
Yep, he has a chance.
Really?
Absolutely.
What are you guys smoking?
Todd Monken.
I'm not on that hype train. I think he's going to do great. I don't know that I got him at QB1.
No, I think he could be fantasy wise QB1, and he's not going to get drafted there. I'm just saying, like, if you're willing to wait on a quarterback, if you don't want to be in that top group of people doing it, and you want to wait on getting a guy who's going, 4th, 5th QB, he has a chance to win it all.
Damn right he does with his legs. The guy had an.
I would love to get.
We were sitting there and we watched him rush an
80-yard
touchdown.
I would love to be that tier 2 Lamar Jackson guy.
I think I'd rather have Justin Fields.
Justin Fields does not have the weapons, and Justin Fields does not have the body.
He doesn't, but he's got those legs that are about 4 years younger that do what Lamar's used to do.
Lamar
has not ran an
80-yard touchdown last year.
He slowed down a little bit.
Not slowed down at all.
I disagree.
You're out of your mind.
Well, I don't think it's much, but I think he's lost a little bit of a step. How do you not?
I don't know. Because I've been watching it, man.
Yeah,
that's how I do not.
So lie.
I think
Whoa.
Lamar Jackson also to the
Whoa,
moon.
slander.
Lamar Jackson going to be great. Todd Monken coming in from Georgia. Okay, they're going to throw the ball. They're going to throw the ball.
Fields and
That's
Jackson are a coin flip for me. If I get either one, I feel
Oh.
the same way as I do
That's-
if I got the other one.
I don't feel that way.
They have one of the best offensive skill player rooms in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah.
OBJ's gonna be there.
Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers.
Talking about receivers that haven't played in
Andrews,
2.5
J.K.
years.
Gus Edwards.
Where's OBG? No, we'll talk about that later.
I don't think
You saying Gus Edwards doesn't seem like it bolsters your argument.
no. I said 5 other guys before him.
You did, and I feel like they're all on the same level as Gus Edwards to me.
Oh my God, you're crazy. That's fine, man. I'll take all Baltimore and I'll do.
I mean, again, for the record, I still like Lamar Jackson. I think he's gonna have a good year. I don't think it's gonna be marginally better than.
Would
Justin
you rather
Fields.
have Trevor Lawrence or Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson?
Is there anybody that we would have? Well, why are we talking about this? We're talking
Because
about,
we're prefacing the division next week.
yeah,
It's a little
sure. I
sample.
mean, I want
It's
to
a
talk
little
about. Yeah,
sample.
I brought us back to Trevor Lawrence.
Bullshit you said last time. It's a little
Dang it.
taste. It's a little taste to keep
An explosion of flavor.
Yeah,
I want spaghetti.
yeah. I'll tell you what. We covered that AFC South. We sure did. Let me tell you what. Next week we're gonna move on up to the north.
Yeah, once he starts
My
doing
God.
voices.
We're gonna see how them Yankees do football up
All
there.
right, so voices
what.
mean that's the end of the episode, everybody.
Yeah,
Good night.
yeah,
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, cut.
I can't wait.
Fun.